Hey there guys, painting the butterflies. I am going to show you step by step how to do this. First thing you're going to need to know is you're going to have to get some tape, some either masking tape or I use this painter's green tape. It works fantastic. This is going to hold your stencil, your tracer, and also your carbon paper at the same time. Sorry, just got out of the shower. I'm going to flick you around so you can see my tracer. Sorry about that. Okay, so let us, what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of tape and you're going to have it so that half of your carbon paper will be on here, and then the other part will stick also to the tape and also leave a little piece so that it sticks over top of your canvas. When you guys are checking, sorry, I ripped that off. When you guys are checking to see if your tracing came through, you're going to hold the tape and lift up to make sure you didn't miss any spots. If you did, go back and cover them. I know it looks intimidating right now, but it's not going to be intimidating at all once we just go little bit by little bit, okay? So I don't need this tape. If you guys want to have a different colored background other than white, maybe you want to have like a little light blue, you're going to mix some blue and white together, do that really thinly and messy, just cover the whole thing, and then blow dry your canvas. Make sure it's really good and dry, and then do your traceable thing over top of it. You will see that on your background. I'm not going to worry too much about mine because I've already pre-drawn it out. I'm not at home. I am in Mexico. So hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. I think you can. If not, maybe I will just trace over it real quick here. Nah, I'm not going to. So let's just start off with one color at a time so that you're not going to be all freaked out. So how about we start with orange? So I have one little place left over here in mine. You have your black, yellow, blue, white, and red. If you have green, you don't need to have the blue so much unless you're doing a I can talk. Unless you're doing a background like your sky or something, which I'm not doing. So I'm going to start with orange. So I'm going to take like half of my yellow, whoops, swoop it over, have a little brush. So that didn't work out very great. Half of my yellow. I took too much, so you don't need a whole bunch of yellow. And then I'm going to take a little bit of red. I'm going to mix that in there, and that's going to make a nice orange color. There we go. I'm just going to brush off because it's all over the place. So we're going to start off in sections. So this little section right underneath the body, right along the bottom, there's like a little section there. You're going to take and you're going to paint that orange. We're going to do all the orange bits first, and then we'll start coming together. You'll see that it's not too hard. So just paint along with me, and then pause if you need to. Color that in orange. I'm going to move on up to the next big section. So all these big sections you see in here are going to be orange. I might need a bigger brush. You guys can do it with a little brush. I'm going to do it with a bigger brush. Up to you, whichever brush you want to use. If you think this orange is too light, you can add a little bit more red to it. Maybe I'll just do that. Oops. A little bit more red to it, so it's a little bit more orange. Of course, I grabbed a piece of yellow. There we go. And here's another section. Just go ahead and make that orange. Doesn't matter if you go outside of the lines a little bit because the rest is going to be black all around this. You're not doing these dots along the edge. Those are white. And we're probably going to just cover over them in black. I just wanted you to see where they were. because later you're just going to be putting them on top of the black. It'll be easier just to cover it right over and add your dots wherever you want to on that edge. See, already it's starting to look less intimidating because part of it's colored in, right? Does not have to be perfect. And so, okay, when you come to this funny bit that's right here, it looks kind of like an E, but it's missing the top of the E. There's some circles that go along here. This one, and up in here. Those are white. Let's just leave those white. So you're going to paint orange on this one and orange on this one. But those two little dots are white. And probably that dot up there will be white as well. I'm running out of orange. I'm going to have to mix it up. You know what that means? It's not going to be the same color. Okay. Just going to pull some more yellow in there, a tiny bit of red, mix it all up, and get myself an orange. And a little bit. I think using the tracers is a fantastic way to experiment painting. We will use a little bit more orange down in here, so we'll have to make sure that we save some orange. All right, going up to the next wing here. Let's I put a little bit more red in there. And with a clean brush, these ones looked a little bit pinky. We're going to take a little bit of white and leave part of yours orange, and part of it we're going to make it a little bit more, I don't know, I always say pinky, but it's not pinky. It's just a really faded out white kind of orange. So I still have my regular orange there, but I've got this little bit of white stuff here. And I am going to take that little bit and I'm going to do this one and this one, these two bigger ones here. Look at all the different colors I got in there because they didn't really mix it up too much on my brush. I like that. And then this one. So those are just a little bit lighter than the other ones. A whole bunch. I'm going to make this one a little bit lighter too. This one that kind of wanted to be an E. I didn't quite make it. All right, and I think up in here, just along this line here, this gets a little bit orange up in that one there. Then I'm going to go back to my regular orange, the reddier one. And I'm going to do the bottom half of that one, a little bit darker, and then I'm going to go back to the darker colors of these here. Now watch here. These ones here are going to be white, so we've got the two lines, and then these three right here. Those are orange. All the rest of those dots up here are going to be white. So, let's just go right on into black. Black. So we want to be a little bit careful with the black. You can take your tiny brush. Where's my tiny brush? There it is. Your tiny brush. And what I want you to do is not so much these ones down here, but for these bigger ones up here, I want you to trace around those with that little brush. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just make it a little thick black around there because we're going to paint everything black. And then I want you to trace around these orange bits that you did. And it doesn't have to be perfect because it's a butterfly. This is just sort of camouflage for the butterfly. So see that? There we go. And then we're going to go around all of these. If you go over your lines and you make these a little smaller or a little bigger, it doesn't matter. No two butterflies look the same. They're kind of like snowflakes. They look similar, but not always the same. Mine might look a little bit different. I tried to make everything sort of the same shape as yours, but I'm working on a bigger area and I freehanded this one because I don't have that traceable in front of me. So coming right down here. Yes, you can trace around these ones too, really carefully. Over this edge. So here's where it's going to take all the time, which is why we're not going to be tracing around all those ones there. That's just too much. So, okay. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to trace around these orange bits again. So the reason why I'm tracing around these is because I'm going to go with the bigger brush and fill all the black in so it doesn't take forever. If you use this little brush, it would take forever to fill all this black in. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like traced around those little shapes that are on the traceable. Now just trace this outline. You could go a little bit slower here and trace the outline of the butterfly wing all the way from up here. Paint on there. And come all the way down. Let's just do one wing at a time with the black for now, just so you get the idea. Come over the top here. Okay, someone's probably going to come in the door here any second. And up over the top here. I have to add a little bit of water to my paint because it's getting dried out. So I'm painting from Mexico, and it's really warm in here. When you put a little bit of water and you mess your paint around, like I put a couple of drops of water and then I just kind of tapped around and thinned the paint out a little bit, it goes a lot farther and you don't have to push as hard. So if you want to keep the little skinny lines, then you just thin it out and you don't have to push so hard. All right. So there's one done, all traced in. Now we're just going to take the bigger brush that you guys have. And really carefully, if it's too small an area, go back to your little brush. You're going to go back to your little brush and water that up. Like up in here, I might have to do that with the tinier brush just to get in there. But these bigger areas here, you're going to cover up all those little polka dots. Remember kind of where they are? It's going to be up to you. See, I drew a line down here. The dots all kind of go on that side of it. But it really doesn't matter as long as they're on the edge. I didn't do one down there. And there isn't really one on the butterfly. I just wanted to kind of section it off so you guys could see. And so you know, you can reuse that carbon paper over and over and over again. So you can do this again and again and again. Change, maybe you want to change your colors. Maybe you want it to be blue and yellow and white. Change your butterfly colors. You can do that. You can do that. This is just practice, this first one. Fun. And when your carbon paper runs out, it feels like it's not printing anymore. You turn the carbon paper the other way around and use the spaces on it that you haven't stenciled through. You'll see what I mean when you look at it after you've traced it. You'll see empty spaces. I just color as much in as I can. And when it gets too close and I get a little bit scared, I'm just going to leave that. And I'm going to go grab my little brush. Grab my little brush. Make sure there's no water dribbling around. And then I'll just go in and I'll fill in those little sections there. See how I hold the brush really close? Like this. This gives me a lot of control, and I can hold my finger to the side of the canvas and then just write like it's a pen. If you hold your brush way back at the end, you don't have a lot of control on what goes on. So I like to have it really close and then sort of balance myself with putting my finger somewhere else and just let my fingers move rather than my whole hand. It's steadier that way. Just be careful where you put your finger. If you put it in your black paint and then you move around, you're going to get that all over your canvas. Don't want that. Don't want that. Okay, so after we do this, we're going to do the exact same thing on the bottom wing. That wasn't so hard now. It looked really scary at first when you just look at the blank. You just look at the blank to traceable there. Now it doesn't look as scary at all. And I like to try to do something scary at least once a week, something that scares me, because that's how I grow. Yesterday I painted a poinsettia. I've never done that before. It turned out pretty good. All right, what do you think of that? Easy breezy. All right, let's go ahead and do the bottom one. Add a little bit of water to my black because it's getting dried out again. Okay, so I'm going to trace around these white things. And if you're worried that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between both wings, I am going to put a little white line here. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. I'm going to clean off that brush. Water. I'm going to take a little bit of white on my little brush, and I'm going to go right along this edge of the gray or the black here, right along this edge of the black. A little bit of white. Now it looks gray. And I'm going to smudge that in because I can go over it with black afterwards and darken it up so it doesn't really matter too much. But now when I go in and I do my black underneath, I want to see where my other one was. So there, now you're safe. Now you're safe. And just remember that up here, all the little white dots go along that edge. On this one, it kind of comes around. It goes a little bit around the top, but this one goes a little bit more in the corner and around. Remember. I have to remember that too, because I'm going to cover over these. But when it all comes down to it, you're just going to put polka dots wherever it makes you feel happy. Wherever it makes you feel happy. Oops. Jeffrey. I can totally see you. Put your shorts on. Sorry, just came out of the shower too. So already I know that in there is going to be hard to paint with a big brush, so I'm just going to cover it all in right now while I'm tracing around. And it does a little dippy right here. A little dip on his back. So I should have said in the beginning too, if you're more comfortable painting with it flat on the table, which is what I've been doing lately, and just paint like that. You don't have to have an easel. There's that. Now right underneath this, I've got to trace around. I'm going to trace around him. A little water in my paint. Bring that out again. And I'm going to go along, trace right underneath his, that orange color. So it looks like it's part of the wing. Color in here. Okay, and then all I have to do is this edge. Oh, still have 2 more to trace. What am I talking about? Still 2 more to trace here. Now while you got your little brush, look for these little areas that are going to be hard to fit into. Just start painting in there. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go right in here. I think that will be hard. That will be hard. And so now I'm up to this part where the wings are. So I'm just going to wiggle my black up here so I can still see a little bit of that gray line. But wiggle it most of it away. So I'm going right up into that gray line till I can barely see it anymore. But I can see the difference between the two wings. Okay. And looks like the rest I should be able to get with a big brush. So back to your bigger brush. And just start filling it in. And that was the hardest part. There. Done. That's done. Now let's make a little bit of gray with this brush. We're going to take the little brush, it's all washed off. We're going to take a little bit of white. I'm going to just put it somewhere on your plate and then take a little bit of black to make some gray so that we can see the difference between his body and his wings. So right over his back, let's just do some gray around that, just so that when we get to that part of his body, we're not going to have to worry about it. While you got your little brush, wipe all the white paint off. And let's do here's the scary part. You could do it. You're going to do a leg's going to come out the top here and down. Really light touch. So that's where it comes in handy. If you put some water in your black paint and thinned it out, then you don't have to push hard. You're just using the tip of your brush. So it's these two here. That's something else green underneath. And these two legs, they come in and they kind of look like Z. Then this one beside it, Z. So you've got those two. So back in here, this is like a petal underneath there. We're not going to worry about that just yet. His antenna. So again, go slow. You don't have to push hard. If you've made your paint a little more fluid, then you won't have to push so hard. You can just slowly glide along that line and do that. All right. Put that brush away. Back to your big one. Just about finished with the black. We're going to do this. Doesn't make any sense, but we're going to have under shadow black. So this ball is going to be black. At least a little bit of it. Not really thick because we're going to be doing pink, and I just don't want this black to go into the pink. So there's hardly any black on here at all. It's already dry. Same with up here. Just a little bit of black. You don't have to cover it all. You're going to see a little bit of it underneath the yellow bits. So what else do we need to black? His body, her body, I don't know. Maybe it's a girl. Are they all girls? I don't know. Color that all in black. Go right up to the gray. Just remember there's going to be some polka dots on this guy later. Fill in everything you can black. And then go up a little higher into that gray so that you can still see it kind of separated from the wings. Okay? So it's okay to be a little bit light there. Now, get all the paint off both your brushes. While we're waiting for that blacks to dry, we're going to go in with some whites. We're going to fill in these big spots right here. If you get a little bit of black on your brush because you're not dry, wipe your brush off so that you don't drag it and make that all gray. Just wipe it off, carry on, and fill in all the white parts that you left. And you don't have to be neat. You don't have to be exactly where you left white. If you go over the black a little bit, that's okay. Brightens right up. Very nice. Now you can slightly touch there. If you're dry, I'm not dry down here, you can start putting polka dots. Easy way to do it is with the back of your brush. You can just dip it straight into your white and just touch it. See that? How it makes really nice little polka dots? Follow all the way down on the top wing, all the way down around that there, and then just add a few in between, but on the other side. And that's all you have to do. Maybe you can put one more here. Isn't that pretty? Okay, for the bottom one, remember we said we had to go over this part of it? And then we're going to go down the side, right to the bottom, and then just throw a few random ones in. There. Done. Good job. This guy here, he's probably not dry yet either, but I'm going to do some polka dots on him anyway. Touch lightly, don't push hard, and you'll make smaller dots. I'm going to leave a little bit of black right there. I don't know why. I think I like it that way. Okay. Put that little brush away. I don't think we need it for a while. Let us do pink. So, have too much red. So what I'm going to do, because I need a little bit of white for something else, I'm going to take some white and put it to the edge. If you have a plate, this is so much easier. And just start making a little bit of pink off to the side. If you do this on a separate, like little yogurt lid or whatever, little plate, then it's so much easier. You're going to make this as pink as you want your flowers to be. So start bringing a little bit more red in at a time. That's pretty light. Getting there. There we go. I think I like that. And all we're going to do is start, so it doesn't get confusing because there's some green back here. Start with this one right in front and go around like this. Okay, so we find all the petals. Doesn't matter if you go a little bit in the middle there. And if your tracer doesn't go all the way, just drag it down with paint. See, mine's not complete here, so I'm just going to make it complete. Just drag it down. In here, let me just see what's back there. I got the image here. Okay, so this line, the second line is green. This first one, I should have painted this before I did the legs, but the legs would have disappeared. So I'm going to kind of go around the legs a little bit. If the legs are dry, you can go right through. It'll be fine. But my legs were not dry. And it's not the end of the world. I'll just put some white on there for now. And when that's dry, I'll go back and paint it. So that line there, that's going to be green. This is pink. And careful with this antenna again too. There's a space right here. I'm going to make that a petal as well, but I'm going to change the color a little bit. So then just fill it in with color. Doesn't matter if you pick up a little bit of extra red when you're doing it. Just let it be messy on there. I'm liking it. And this one, this part here is where the petal kind of twisted, so I want that to be lighter underneath. So I'm gonna paint this side a little bit darker. Going over top of my antenna. I think they're dry. So when they're dry, you don't have to worry so much. Still want to avoid them, but it doesn't matter because we can paint over those after. So now, I'm going to take a little bit of white and mix it in with my pink so that it looks lighter. That's way too light. But that's going to be the underside. There, that's better. So it looks like it kind of flipped, and that's the underside of that daisy petal. And I'm going to go a little bit redder, so add a little bit more red to my mixture, and then right here, there's going to be another petal. Right there. So if you want to add more colors to it, you can. You could take a little bit of red, and you can zing it through if you want, while it's all still a little bit wet. You can mess around with your colors and make it messy. Fix that back there that I messed up earlier. There we go. And then we're going to do this one the same. So what I suggest, see how messy my paint is? It's all sort of marbly and mixed up and not perfect. I'm going to add a little bit more white and going to make that even more messed up. So if it's messed up there and it's messed up on your brush, when you paint your petals, they'll have all different colors in them. Let's go with every other petal with your first color. And mix in. Oh, that one's even darker because I hit a different color. So I put that darker stuff right there. Then all the petals will look separated. Come back in. Who knows what color I'm going to get now? Oh, look at that. Even darker. Throw a dark one here. There. A bit lighter. Okay, we're almost done, you guys. You're doing great. So you can take a little bit of white if you want, and you can just throw that into your petals. I like things to look messy. I don't like them to look too terribly smooth and structured. So I'm messing those up a little bit. Throw some white down in these ones. See how messy that's getting? Love it. All right, let's create some green. Clean that brush off. Just clean up the little one. If you have green already, you're fine. But if you don't, you're going to take a very, very small amount of blue and mix it over. Actually, wash that off. You need to bring some yellow over. We don't need a whole lot. You see how little blue that was? When you mix it around, now I'm getting green. Such a little amount of blue. Seriously, like not even a teardrop of it. A grain of salt blue for this little bit of yellow. And then you just go a little bit by little bit until it turns the color green you want. And I think I like that color. That's a nice light green. Maybe you want to add a little bit of white to it. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Okay, so you're going to take that, and I have some green showing down here. This petal, some in here, right up here. Those are his legs. And also this stem. Everybody's green is going to be a different green. So whatever you decide, if you want it to be a bit darker, you can add a touch, like a grain of salt, touch of black to your little mixture pile. That'll make it a little darker. I'll show you. So taking a little grain of salt, black. Try another grain of salt, black. It gets a little bit darker. And I'll put that one right here. So you can see there's two different greens right there. It's not a huge difference. Maybe you want that darker one there, I don't know. Maybe you want some dark on part of your stem. That's good. So wash that off. I'm going to go over the black that I did here because I went over it with pink. So I'm going to go over this black antenna so that it's more noticeable because I washed it out with the pink. There we go, and also his feet, especially here. There you go. That's all done. The only thing we have left to do is to put in all the little orange things. So I think we might have to create some more orange. That's why I didn't ruin it too badly. I'm going to use the bigger brush. Use the bigger brush to mix it up. So I'm going to take all that yellow. I'll put it over there in my pile. I'm going to grab a little bit of red. Mess that up. There you go. Orange. I didn't even mix it up too much because I don't want to. And I'm going to take my little brush. I'm going to take a blob of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start making little tap marks all over. Some are bigger than the other ones. If you're doing it in directions like you're doing them on a clock, so that you're not all straight up and down, but where it's over here, it's going on this angle. See how I've got my angle, my brush angle? So it goes like this and comes up straight, and then they go out that way. So then they start being painted that way. I'm using the side of my brush, it's long. I have a lot like that on there. But using the side of my brush this way, that makes those long skinny lines, and as they come to the front, they go a little bit straighter. And we're going to do a whole bunch of those all over this. At the bottom, they just got to kind of be wherever. We can put some more green in there in those spaces, or you can throw more petals in. It's up to you. Make sure you go past your black when you're doing this. That way it'll look fluffier. Not so much on the bottom, but definitely on the top and the sides there. And you're going to almost make this black disappear with all those little ticky marks. Okay, and then you'll do the same up here. There we go. I think I'm going to have some more green. Maybe it's going to go right down. Maybe it's actual leaf. I don't know. Here and here. Like that. Depends. Maybe you want another petal in there. If you decide you want another petal, just stick one in. Just stick one in. It's up to you because this is your painting. Maybe that just looked too sparse for you. You needed more. If you need more, you're just going to make more petals. If I go off the page, I'm going to throw some white and mess that up. Maybe some red. There, I like that. And that is your painting. Make sure you guys sign it. Always, always, always sign it. I signed mine with my name, of course. But you can sign with initials or whatever you want. All right, guys, thanks very much. Enjoy. I hope to see pictures of this stuff you guys are creating one day. And thanks for shopping with me.